Hello everybody, this is Vertical Sandwich. So no Hugo Award winner this week. And the reason is because I just wanted to take a break to do something that I wanted to do for a long time, which is this, right here. Kurt Vonnegut is one of my favorite authors ever. I'm a gigantic Kurt Vonnegut fan. Kurt Vonnegut is the only author I've ever written a fan letter to. I wrote it well before he died. Kurt Vonnegut is in fact dead. Yeah. So, and out of all of Kurt Vonnegut's stuff, this is my favorite book. It's not my favorite novel ever, but it's pretty close. It's probably this is my favorite Vonnegut work. And if you've read a Vonnegut novel, you've probably read Slaughterhouse-Five. Slaughterhouse-Five is the thing that made him kind of a popular American writer. If something is anthologized or if you're made to read something by him in a college class or a high school class, Slaughterhouse-Five is it. But this is Breakfast of Champions, and I can't. I want to talk a minute about kind of Vonnegut. So Vonnegut was nominated for Hugo Awards 3 times. Never for this. He was nominated, I think, for Cat's Cradle and Sirens of Titan for sure. And then I don't know if Slaughterhouse-Five was nominated or not. But those are his most science fiction-y things. Cat's Cradle is famously science fiction-y. Sirens of Titan is so wingnut science fiction-y. It's just out of this world. It's so crazy. Slaughterhouse-Five is pretty crazily science fiction-y. Kurt Vonnegut survived the firebombing of Dresden, Germany during World War II. He was a POW. And the reason that book is called Slaughterhouse-Five is because they were kept in an underground bunker that was called Slaughterhouse-Five. That was the thing that they were taught to say by their German captors was Slaughterhouse-Five in German, so that people could tell them where to go if they got lost or something. I don't know. And he had to spend some of his war service digging corpses out of this firebombed city as one of the few survivors. And a lot of that is encapsulated in Slaughterhouse-Five and in Bluebeard. Now, I will talk, we are going to review multiple Vonnegut novels because I love Bluebeard, I love Hocus Pocus, I love this. We'll talk about Slaughterhouse-Five because it's his most famous thing, but today we're talking about this. We're talking about Breakfast of Champions. First thing you need to know about Breakfast of Champions, it's just filled with these drawings. He just made these childish felt tip pen drawings, and they included them. So, this is the famous drawing. That drawing right there, that is of an asshole. It is. It just is. Right? Yeah. See, there's a hypodermic needle. There's drawings of women's genitalia in here and things like that. I mean, and they're all meant for illustrative purposes because Kurt Vonnegut wrote this book like you don't know anything about the world to kind of show you how ridiculous all the things you take for granted are. So let's just read the opener. Oh, we should read the back. In Breakfast of Champions, one of Kurt Vonnegut's most beloved characters, the aging writer Kilgore Trout, finds to his horror that a Midwest car dealer is taking his fiction as truth. What follows is murderously funny satire as Vonnegut looks at war, sex, racism, success, politics, and pollution in America, and reminds us how to see the truth. And yeah, so there's actually 2 competing plot lines. One is of this car dealer in Midland, Ohio, who is going crazy. He is just genetically predispositioned to go nuts in middle age, as some people are. And this failed aging science fiction writer who is the most cynical character you would ever meet. And them one of them, the writer going on a journey that will eventually intersect him with this crazy used car salesman as he's going crazy. It's fantastic. So, I don't care about the preface. You should read the preface. This is one of those books where you really should read why Vonnegut wrote this novel. This is his turning 50 birthday present to himself. And he said he wanted to clear his head of all the garbage that the world had taught him that just wasn't true. So, this is a tale of a meeting of two lonesome, skinny, fairly old white men on a planet which was dying fast. One of them was a science fiction writer named Kilgore Trout. He was a nobody at the time, and he supposed his life was over. He was mistaken. As a consequence of the meeting, he became one of the most beloved and respected human beings in history. The man he met was an automobile dealer, a Pontiac dealer named Dwayne Hoover. Dwayne Hoover was on the brink of going insane. Listen, Trout and Hoover were citizens of the United States of America, a country which was called America for short. This was their national anthem, which was pure balderdash, like so much they were expected to take seriously. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? There were 1 quadrillion nations in the universe, but the nation Dwayne Hoover and Kilgore Trout belonged to was the only one with a national anthem which was gibberish sprinkled with question marks. Here is what their flag looked like. It was a law of their nation, a law no other nation on the planet had about its flag, which said this: the flag shall not be dipped to any person or thing. Flag dipping was a form of friendly and respectful salute, which consisted of bringing a flag on a stick closer to the ground, then raising it up again. The motto of Dwayne Hoover and Kilgore Trout's nation was this, which meant in a language nobody spoke anymore: out of many, one, e pluribus unum. The undippable flag was a beauty, and the anthem and the vacant motto might not have mattered much if it weren't for this. A lot of citizens were so ignored and cheated and insulted that they thought they might be in the wrong country, or even on the wrong planet, that some terrible mistake had been made. It might have comforted them some if their anthem and their motto had mentioned fairness, or brotherhood, or hope, or happiness, had somehow welcomed them to the society and its real estate. If they studied their paper money for clues as to what their country was all about, they found, among a lot of other Baroque trash, a picture of a truncated pyramid with a radiant eye on top of it, like this. Not even the President of the United States knew what that was about. It was as though the country were saying to its citizens, in nonsense is strength. And here's the thing. Don't underestimate Vonnegut's humanism, right? Vonnegut believes that people should be fairer to one another and kinder. And he does. He does. Vonnegut is, he is a lot of things. Vonnegut is a lot of things. But one of the things that he is above he is above anything else is he is an amazing master of satire. Is through satire and parody, he tries to show you the things that he finds that are important about being a human and the things that are not. And things like patriotism to him, of a veteran, by the way, who, was a POW in World War II. Patriotism to him is ridiculous. Nationalism to him is ridiculous. Racism to him is ridiculous. And he treats that appropriately in this he wants to show you just how kind of ridiculous the things that we hold so dear are. To show you that the things that we take for granted are actually important. And that's Vonnegut's, for me, that's Vonnegut's message to the world, right? Is that don't spend all of your energy on the things that aren't really important, like take care of one another. Be nice. Be fair. Be good. Vonnegut just happens to also tell you that in ways that are very entertaining. One of the things you have to be into for Vonnegut to work is you have to be into the idea of yourself and the author being part of the novel, right? Vonnegut will talk about himself. His experiences are reflected in the novel. He expects you to relate to him as a human being and as a, this, I think, is Vonnegut's best work at doing that, about telling you what Vonnegut believes is important. And what Vonnegut believes is important, I would argue, are things that we should all believe are important. Things like fairness and equality, and care, and our humanity. And he succeeded Asimov as the president of the Society of Humanitarians. I don't remember the name, but he actually is. I know he said he was very proud that in his acceptance speech he opened with a joke, and his joke was, I'm sure Isaac Asimov is looking down at us from heaven because the Humanitarian Society rejects religion. So, and he said everybody laughed, and he's like, and I hope when I die somebody will say that about me, and I hope Vonnegut is looking down from heaven to see me doing this book review and express my admiration for him once again, because for me this is where it's at. This is the perfect blend of everything for me. For me, there are few novels as poignant about the American condition as this commentary is. There are few novels as poignant about the human condition as this novel is. And there are a few novels that manage to be that important for me and still be this entertaining. Because this novel is laugh out loud funny. And that's amazing. Is that you read it and you will just I've had to put this novel down because I was laughing so hard. And I've owned multiple copies. I keep giving them away to people. I want everybody to read this. Everybody should read this. I actually own a hardcover first edition copy of this book. For me, as far as those themes I was talking about, I think the only novel that exceeds this in saying more about what it is to be kind of an American is The Great Gatsby. Is for me probably the most poignant novel written about the American condition is The Great Gatsby. But this is among my favorites, and I love it. And Vonnegut is among my favorite authors. He is for me. I've read a lot of Twain, and I've read a lot of Vonnegut, and obviously they're similar authors. They're very American comedians who cared about love and kindness and equality and fairness, and for me they dovetail very well. That Twain dies about the time Vonnegut was born, and that we have this kind of continuous commentary of the satire of America, and it's I don't want to say it's the paradox of its hypocrisy, right? Of a meritocratic society being having an amazing history of racism and division. Now, and none of those things are those things are as poignant today as they were in the in the 60s. By the way, this was written in, let's see where this is copyrighted. Is there no copyright page on my copy of Breakfast of Champions? '73, and it's as poignant today as it was then, and as important. And I would suggest, if you don't read any other Vonnegut novels, I would suggest you read this one. Now, I will say as a qualifier, I said all those things about how this is his best work, being poignant and whatever. Timequake is his most kind of humanly emotional novel, and I will give that to that novel. That is, by the way, his farewell novel. It's the last novel he wrote. So, yeah, this is a personal favorite of mine. I can't endorse this enough. Um, I've read it multiple times. I love this book, and I think you should read it. I think if you watch all my other reviews and go, Vertical Sandwich has a problem with all these things that I wouldn't have a problem with, and he likes things that I wouldn't like, and I don't want to listen to him. I think you should listen to me here. I mean, I think that you should, if you read this and you don't like this, then you probably shouldn't listen to the rest of my book reviews, because we're clearly on a different planet. Like, you and I are clearly, like, we are not into the same things. So yeah, this is for me. This is a novel very dear to my heart. It's something I absolutely and totally love. This is, I think, the 4th copy I've owned. And if I give this one away, I'll buy another copy. I will never be without a copy of this book, because it's just that important to me. So yes, one of my favorites, Vonnegut's Breakfast of Champions. By the way, 300 pages. It's actually roughly divided 100, 100, and 100 to kind of different thematically kind of things, which you wouldn't probably notice if I didn't tell you. Yeah. So, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Highly suggested. So that was my break to talk about Vonnegut. And see you guys next week for a Hugo Award winner. Bye, everybody.